Most terrifying urban legends from around the world. It was a rainy evening when a group of 5 friends, each from different corners of the globe, gathered around a dimly lit table in an old, creaky mansion. They had been brought together by an insatiable curiosity for the macabre, and tonight they had decided to share the most terrifying urban legends from their homelands. Maria, from the Philippines, started with a shiver-inducing tale from Ballet Drive in Quezon City. "In my hometown," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "there is a road that no one dares to travel alone at night. It's said to be haunted by the White Lady, the spirit of a woman who died tragically." Mark, a hiker from Canada, leaned in closer, intrigued. "Go on," he urged. Maria's eyes darkened as she recounted the story. One rainy night, a young woman named Maria was driving home late. The road was shrouded in fog, and as she turned a corner, she saw a figure in white. Thinking it was a stranded traveler, she slowed down. But as soon as she rolled down her window, the woman vanished. Seconds later, she appeared in the back seat, her face twisted in a horrific grin. Maria screamed and crashed into a tree, and now her spirit haunts Ballet Drive alongside the White Lady. The friends exchanged uneasy glances. The rain outside intensified, and the wind howled as if echoing the White Lady's torment. Mark, feeling a chill run down his spine, decided it was his turn. In the forests of northern Canada, there's a legend about the wendigo. It's a malevolent spirit that possesses those who resort to cannibalism, turning them into monsters driven by an insatiable hunger for human flesh. He told the group about his friend, an experienced hiker named Jack, who had gone missing during a solo expedition. Jack was well prepared, but he got lost. Weeks passed, and one night he heard voices promising safety and food. He followed them to a cave where he encountered the wendigo. His screams were heard by search parties, but his body was never found. It's said that the wendigo still roams those woods, eternally hunting. AJ, from India, was next. He hesitated before speaking, the fear evident in his eyes. In rural India, we have a legend about the churel, a vengeful spirit of a woman who died during childbirth or was wronged in life. She lures men with her beauty, and then reveals her true, hideous form before draining their life force. Ajay spoke of a traveler named Vikram who had encountered a beautiful woman in a red sari while exploring ancient ruins. He followed her into the night, entranced by her beauty. But when he got close, she transformed into a churel. Her face twisted into a terrifying mask, and she drained his life away. Vikram's withered husk was found the next day, a grim reminder of the churel's wrath. Ivan, from Ukraine, leaned forward, his voice low and somber. In Eastern Europe, we have the legend of the rusalka, a water nymph who died violently near water. She lures men to their watery graves with her beauty and song. He told the story of a fisherman named Alexei, who had been drawn to a haunting melody by the river. He saw a beautiful woman with long, flowing hair. As he reached out to touch her, she pulled him into the water. His screams echoed through the night, but his body was never found. The rusalka claimed another soul for her watery kingdom. Tom, an American journalist, shared the next story. In America, we have a modern urban legend about the black-eyed children. These mysterious children appear at night, knocking on doors and asking for help. Those who let them in are never seen again. He recounted his investigation into the legend, detailing how he had set up cameras around his home. One stormy night, 2 children with pitch-black eyes knocked on my door. Their voices were flat, devoid of emotion. Against my better judgment, I let them in. The air grew heavy and I felt a cold hand grasp my wrist. Their eyes bored into my soul, and I knew I had made a terrible mistake. Tom's voice shook as he finished his tale. I barely escaped with my life, but I've never been the same since. The black-eyed children still haunt my dreams. Yuki from Japan was the last to share her story. In Japan, we have the legend of the teke-teke, a spirit of a woman who was cut in half by a train. Her upper torso drags itself along, searching for her lower half. She spoke of a university student named Hana, who had encountered the teke-teke one fateful night. Hana missed the last bus and took a shortcut through the train tracks. She heard a strange noise, teke-teke-teke. Turning around, she saw a woman with a bloodied upper body dragging herself towards her. Hana tried to run, but the teke-teke was too fast. Her screams were heard, but her body was never found. The teke-teke claimed another victim. Anna, also from the Philippines, shared a tale about the manananggal, a creature that can sever its upper torso and grow bat-like wings. It preys on pregnant women, sucking the hearts of unborn children. She told the group about an expectant mother named Clara who had moved to a rural village. One night she heard flapping outside her window. Peeking through the curtains, she saw a horrific creature with wings, its torso separated from its legs. The manananggal burst into the room, its sharp tongue extending towards Clara's belly. But just as it was about to strike, dawn's light filled the room, and the creature retreated into the night. Ahmed, an archaeologist from the Middle East, was next. In our folklore, we have the jinn, supernatural beings made of smokeless fire. They can be benevolent or malevolent, and encountering an evil jinn can bring about unimaginable terror. He recounted his discovery of an ancient lamp during an excavation. Ignoring warnings, I took the lamp back to my tent. That night, a chilling breeze woke me, and I saw a jinn with glowing eyes. It offered me a choice: serve it or suffer its wrath. I refused, and the jinn's laughter echoed as it unleashed its fury. The excavation site was abandoned the next day, the lamp shattered. The jinn's curse remains. Carlos from Mexico shared his tale about La Llorona, the weeping woman. She is the spirit of a woman who drowned her children in a fit of madness and now wanders near water, crying and searching for them. He spoke of his encounter with La Llorona while investigating her legend. I heard a mournful wail by the river and followed it to the bank. There, I saw a woman in a tattered white dress, her face hidden by a veil. When she turned to face me, her veil slipped, revealing a skeletal face with hollow eyes. She lunged at me, and I barely escaped. La Llorona's cries still haunt me. Nadia, from Russia, concluded the evening with the legend of Baba Yaga, a fearsome witch who lives in a hut on chicken legs. She kidnaps and eats children, and her very name evokes fear. She recounted her childhood adventure into the dense Russian forests. I found Baba Yaga's hut, surrounded by a fence made of bones. The door creaked open and she emerged, her eyes gleaming with malice. I tried to run, but the forest conspired against me. Baba Yaga grabbed me and dragged me into her hut. My screams were lost in the darkness. The villagers say, those who venture into the forest never return, taken by Baba Yaga. As the friends finished their tales, a heavy silence settled over the room. The rain outside had stopped, but the wind continued to howl. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the temperature dropped. Maria's eyes widened in horror. Did anyone else hear that? A chilling whisper echoed through the room, followed by the sound of footsteps. The friends huddled together, their hearts pounding. One by one, they realized that the legends they had shared were not just stories. They were real, and they had been summoned by their words. The White Lady appeared first, her ghastly grin filling them with dread. The wendigo's shadow loomed over Mark, its hunger palpable. The churel's icy grip tightened around AJ's throat, while the rusalka's mournful song drew Ivan towards the window. The black-eyed children knocked on the door, their soulless eyes seeking entry. The teke-teke's dragging sound echoed through the halls, growing louder with each passing second. The manananggal's wings flapped ominously outside the window, while the jinn's laughter reverberated through the room, sending shivers down their spines. Carlos screamed as La Llorona's wails filled the air, her skeletal face appearing inches from his own. Baba Yaga's cackle mixed with the howling wind as she emerged from the shadows, her hut's chicken legs creaking and groaning. The friends realized too late that their curiosity had unleashed a night of terror. They had unwittingly summoned the very legends they sought to explore. Desperation set in as they searched for a way to escape the horrors closing in on them. Maria, her voice trembling, shouted, "We need to banish them. We need to find a way to send them back." Mark, clutching a flashlight, tried to remember the folklore he had studied. There must be something, some ritual or chant that can reverse this. AJ, feeling the churel's icy grip tightening around his throat, gasped, "The stories, they all have a way to end. We need to think." Ivan, desperately trying to close the window to block out the rusalka's song, said, "What if we repeat the legends backward? Unmake what we made?" Tom, shaking with fear but determined, grabbed a pen and paper. "We need to write down exactly what we said in reverse order. We can't miss a single detail." Yuki, hearing the teke-teke's relentless dragging getting closer, started reciting her story backwards. Hana, shortcut, tracks, last bus. One by one, they followed suit, reciting their tales in reverse as best they could. The White Lady's grin began to falter and she started to fade. The wendigo's shadow receded and the churel's grip loosened. Mark noticed the change and urged everyone, "It's working! Keep going!" The black-eyed children's knock grew softer, the teke-teke's dragging sound diminished, and the manananggal's wings beat slower. The jinn's laughter turned into a whisper and then silence. Carlos, barely able to contain his terror as La Llorona's skeletal face loomed closer, chanted in reverse, "River, by cries, heard, never." Nadia, tears streaming down her face, muttered, "Baba Yaga, hut, legs, bones, fence." As they continued, the room grew warmer and the flickering lights steadied. The air felt less oppressive and the legend's presence weakened. Finally, with the last of their strength, they completed the reverse chants. The legends, now ghostly apparitions, began to dissolve into the air. The friends collapsed, exhausted but relieved as the room returned to its normal state. Breathing heavily, Maria whispered, "We did it. We actually did it." Mark nodded. "Let's never speak of these legends again. We can't risk this happening a second time." AJ, rubbing his sore throat, agreed. "We need to be more careful about what we summon with our words." Ivan, still shaken, added, "Let's get out of this mansion. We've had enough horror for a lifetime." Tom, gathering their things, said, "Agreed. Let's leave and make a pact to never delve this deeply into the supernatural again." Yuki, looking around at the old mansion one last time, shivered. "Let's go. I never want to see this place again." As they left the mansion, the friends felt a strange sense of unity and a deep respect for the stories they had shared. They had faced unimaginable terror and survived, bound by their shared ordeal. As they walked away, the mansion stood silent and empty, the echoes of their fear lingering in the walls. The legends they had summoned were gone, but the memory of that night would haunt them forever.